Find about hidden taxes, fees, and fines, including a 40% tax on some health plans. I warned you about Obamacare. It's rationing, Medicare cuts, and will trigger doctor shortages. Now the Obamacare Survival Guide gives you the simple steps to protect your family. So get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere. It's already a #1 Amazon bestseller. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 today by going to Obamacare911.com. Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry. We didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah! You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
Of the program called The Voice of Ocala from the Gateway Bank. It's time for Ask the Cops now, featuring, let's see, alphabetically. We'll change it up today because we've been going alphabetically. Let's start with Greg Graham, Chief of Police, and Chris Blair, Sheriff of Marion County. Gentlemen, welcome to show number, is this 3 we've done already? This is the 3rd, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's the 3rd, yeah.
I think 3 or 4.
Yeah. Heck, we're 3 or 4. We're getting up there now. We got to be veterans of radio, are we?
Yeah.
I appreciate both of you taking the time to do this and speaking to the issues of law enforcement, and also everybody getting to know you. Both of you have been around here a long time. You know a lot of folks, and you've had a long tenure of service in Marion County and Ocala. But I think it's always good to have the dialogue, and I appreciate both of you coming to do this because I think that's really important. I know both of you like to talk to people and find out what's going on with them and be able to tell them what's going on with you. So let's start with that topic. Let's start today with the chief. What's happening over at the cop shop, as they say on the beat, and what's going on there this news?
Things seem to be going really well. The guys and girls are out there working really hard, making a lot of arrests. We've with the sheriff's office this week, we've hit a couple of drug houses, and we're able to take several people to jail. In fact, we made a bust on a meth lab about a block away from 8th Street Elementary School yesterday. Basically,
that close to the schools.
Yeah, it was. We were looking for a guy on a warrant for a burglary. Had the sheriff's fugitive squad with us, and he went over, knocked on the door, had information that he was there, and opened the door. He's standing inside, a bunch of drug paraphernalia. Ended up being a meth lab. Everybody got to go to jail, so worked out really well for us. Not so well for the neighborhood because that house is there. So we're working with the landlord to make sure they're getting the right kind of people in that neighborhood, and they seem to be fairly cooperative yesterday.
I want to get back to you on how that came about and as a follow-up, but let's go to the sheriff now. I heard you really got a lot of stuff going on down at your place in the sheriff's office. That there's people moving and grooving, things happening, and all kind of changes. And what can you share with us, Sheriff Blair?
Well, just a little over a week ago, I reorganized the sheriff's office based on the fact that I had 70 individuals from the community come in and evaluate the agency itself and engage with all the employees to see what they wanted to see change. And
a group of citizens, right?
Absolutely. Retired law enforcement officers and some other people that have expertise in certain areas. The jail. We had 2 wardens from the jail, from DOC that were retired, came to the jail. We had a pilot of 37 years commercial, did the aviation unit. So many other areas were evaluated. But based on the evaluations, we made probably 30 changes throughout the organization.
Well, change is difficult sometimes. I want to come back to that question too, because sometimes it's good and sometimes it's scary for people. So I'll ask you how you dealt with that. Let's talk about how these crimes get solved, or at least we think it's solved. We haven't got to conviction yet and got them in jail, but it looks like that's what's going to happen. I mean, how else can you get out of that? Walking in and all the paraphernalia there, it looks like a pretty solid case, I'd say. How do those things you get tips on that, or is it just good police work? What happens?
I think it's a combination of both. We do get tips. We get tips all the time through the drug unit or through Crime Stoppers we get a lot of tips through Crime Stoppers.
Really, that works well.
Oh yeah, and
so call Crime Stoppers, right? And
absolutely, because with Crime Stoppers you're guaranteed a reward, but you certainly are eligible for more of a reward by calling Crime Stoppers than you.
I hadn't thought about the reward part of this.
Oh yeah. The tip is what is really important to us, and then when the officers follow up on those, they've just got to be diligent and observe everything that's going on. And as we were standing yesterday, and the mayor actually came out and he was watching our evidence officers take the evidence out of the house, and he couldn't believe as meticulous as we have to be when we're collecting evidence and how it has to be packaged. And he said, that's a lot of work. And I said, well, yeah, sure it is, Mary, but wait, you should come to one of our crime scenes where we're collecting DNA, because it's, you got to glove up, collect a small piece of DNA, and then you unglove, re-glove to go to the next thing that you're going to collect, so you don't get contamination. So it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time. And unfortunately, everybody watches CSI and the shows on TV where all this stuff's done in an hour, and that doesn't cut it. We were at that meth lab yesterday for 4 hours, and it was a meth lab. But hey, it's hard work on the part of the officers, and just being tenacious. We've got a great relationship with the state attorney's office, who they prosecute all our cases, and the better relationship you have with them, where they've got ownership in the case too, it really helps, because they seems like they try harder, just like we do. So it's a combination of everything. Not one thing is better than the next. It takes everything to bring about a successful case.
So in real life, actually, when you have a case going on, you don't have to stop the entire department to work on one single case like they do on TV. When you say, let's devote 25 people to this, and we'll go solve this crime, right?
Right. Well, depending on the type of crime it is, if it's big enough, then we'll develop a task force. We've done it before. But for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, these cases are investigated by one or two people, outside of the crime scene people, and because there's so much stuff going on.
Well, the double homicide in the Ocala National Forest, I had 240 plus law enforcement officers attached to that task force. So it was both local, OPD, us, state, federal, FDLE, FBI. So that's a large task force and a lot of manpower. But you were dealing with 2 homicides of 2 students from Santa Fe Community College.
I remember that.
And we were dealing with 700,000 acres in the Ocala National Forest, and who came and who went and committed this horrendous crime.
This when you were head of major crimes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can go from small to extremely large in a very quick period of time.
Well, I wanted to get to that because I know you have the task force capability. I'm not sure about you, Greg. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about task force.
We both do.
Yeah. So I want to get, after the break, get into some of that, because the ability to strike quick with sufficient manpower and woman power, to deal while the scene is, while it's a hot case, is significantly, I imagine, solving crime, right? You got to get it done now, or it might be too late tomorrow, right?
There's a lot of truth when they say 48 hours.
Really? Is that it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're the first day, 2 days, that's where you're going to gain most of the information that you're going to be able to use later on to determine what happened and be able to prove what happened. But in every case gets evaluated at the time we respond, and if it is, it's like if you go to a missing child, we're going to pour the coal to that one, and we're going to put every resource that we have in our organization, and then rely on those relationships that we've built with the Sheriff's Office, with FDLE, with Alachua County, Sumter County, the FBI, DEA, whoever it is, we can pick the phone up and call and go, hey, we need some help, throw a couple of people our way. So, it's about building those relationships and having that cooperation prior to, not after or during that
having the pieces in place when it does happen.
Right.
And we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to just have you both, starting with you, Sheriff Blair, and then Chief Graham, walk me through what happens if today you find out in the next 15 minutes there's something big that just broke And what is the procedure? What's the call? What do you do? How do they notify? How do you put them in action? What goes on? It'll be interesting to see the logistics of putting the police force in action and the sheriff department in action to go and work on the crime scene. All right?
Correct.
All right, we'll take a break. We've got Ask the Cops Day here at the Gateway Bank. We've got Sheriff Chris Blair and Chief of Police Greg Graham. We'll be here till 5 o'clock. We'll take your questions at 4:30. You can call at 622-9622 at 4:30, and we'll be able to take your questions. I'm Buddy Martin. The program is called The Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976.
I'm an animal lover, and I know in Marion County and the city of Ocala, we have problems with, like, dog fighting. I was wondering if you could just address that a little and what citizens of Marion County and Ocala could look for.
Well, when a lot of that activity is going on, you know, it's being held at locations that are pretty well concealed, I would say. So if you do hear something, most important thing is just notify the communications center, and then we'll absolutely respond to it and check on it. But a lot of times in locations where the dogs are being held, you know, you'll see where they're tethered. They'll have cages, and that's some possibility that you'll see that, and then it may occur. But I don't think you're personally going to get invited to a dog fight.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops. Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
WOCA, News Talk 1370. Good talk, great conversation.
On Mondays, AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Linda Ann Jones. She's a poet and a children's author. Her book is called Alphabet Anatomy.
Open for debate, where both sides of the chosen topic will be discussed.
And then Randy Buss will be on the air with us. He's a business director of NAI Heritage, the source in Florida for commercial real estate.
John M. Bauman is a proud person with Parkinson's. He's written a book called Decide Success. You Ain't Dead Yet. 12 action steps to achieve the success you truly desire.
And then from Sunrise Automotive, mechanic and technician Matt Gibbs will be on the air with us on his show, Auto Repair with Personal Care, answering your questions about your cars.
Dr. Sherry Campbell is a licensed psychologist who helps with personality disorders, depression, and addiction. She's written a book called Loving Yourself, The Mastery of Being Your Own Person.
All of that, plus Fun with Joe, on Mondays, AM Ocala Live, right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Don't miss Musical Soiree Under the Moonlight, supporting Children's Home Society of Florida. Friday, April 19th at the Hilton Ocala. Start off the evening with hors d'oeuvres on the patio, followed by a formal sit-down dinner. Then, enjoy a live classical music concert with Maestro Ricardo Luna from Vienna, Austria. Plus a special vocal performance by Hannah Falastini. Tickets are only $75 per person. Order online at galaofocala.com.
Why are so many Florida residents racing to the Walt Disney World theme parks to rediscover their all-time favorite classic attractions and explore what's new? They got a great deal on the 3-day Discover Disney ticket for just $119 plus tax. And why should you be racing to WOCA.com right now? Because you could win your tickets from the source. So get going. Visit WOCA.com for full details on how to win your 3-day Discover Disney tickets.
All right, welcome back to the Voice of Ocala. It's Ask the Cops Day here at Gateway Bank. Sheriff Chris Blair, Chief Greg Graham. We had a conversation going about how do you strike while my grandma used to say the iron is hot. You know, the old Western movies used to be when they were tracking somebody in the mountains. You got to make sure you move before the trail gets cold. And I guess there's a certain amount of that truth in pursuing the criminals in this situation, too. Let's start with, and you guys can interrupt and talk. Don't have to leave me to tell you when to talk. But talk about the process when, okay, something happens right now. What button do you push, Chris Blair?
I think the important thing is, every case is different. So it could be a homicide case, it could be a kidnapping case, and then it could be cases. I'll just give you an example. Adam Kirk, many years ago, a young man was taken from the elementary school, and we immediately created a task force. Once I had information, because I was in major crimes at the time, and had suspected possibly foul play and possibly a predator had taken him. So we created a task force immediately. You got the FDLE, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the FBI. I called in all my major crime people. We worked out of a command post, and that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to establish a command post with communication, and then you're going to bring everyone together and then give them assignments and their responsibilities on what they're assigned to do. On that particular case, I put one sergeant responsible for leads in, leads out, so that we make sure we don't miss anything. So that's a different type of case there. Today, if we had a series of armed robberies, either in the city or in the county with Greg, we have the manpower to pull a task force together. I just created a fugitive unit, a tactical investigative team, along with 2 brand new property crime teams. And the concept behind that, even though they work independent of each other, that is 30 men and women that I can bring together with one phone call, and I can put them in a task force arena and say, all right, we need you to find out who's committing these armed robberies. And the good thing about that is I don't have to disrupt major crimes, I don't have to disrupt the drug task force or my patrol division. They can continue to do their functions. The 30-man team can come together. Some can work at night, some can work during the day, so it's not going to cost me any overtime. So that was the reason that was just recently developed.
Right, yeah, I can tell you in the grand scheme of things, we have a protocol throughout the state of Florida. It's incident command, where we use it a lot during natural disasters, but we use it on everything. Where, especially when you have different agencies involved, you have an incident commander, and then just like the sheriff was saying, you've got people who are assigned different things to do, and then you do briefings and all. But we use that incident command system on everything. For the most part, crime is an easy thing to talk about, but I'll give you a great example. I had nothing to do, kind of had to do with crime, but the crash involving David Allen Coe that shut down Pine and 40 for almost 6 hours. That we used incident command in that. Our watch commander shows up, sees that, one of the busiest intersections in Ocala is going to be shut down for quite a bit of time.
Truck involved, right?
Right. It was a semi, pulled out in front of a semi. He actually, he's lucky he's alive. Coe's lucky he's alive. If you saw a picture of the truck,
I did see the car.
But the truck takes out a pole and takes out the lights there at the intersection, and so we've got DOT involved. We've got record companies, us, FHP. So when you have all those different agencies involved, somebody still has to be in charge to give direction, and that's why we use that incident command system. So we use it for everything, not just kidnappings or crimes against kids or armed robberies or any of that. We use it for traffic crashes. We've used it for anything and everything that certainly needs a directed response. So works really well.
And we train incident command. So there's different series that some of them larger than others. So we can step it up just like the crime may be. So depending on how much you need as far as instant command. So,
well, there's so much stuff that's going on at the time. I mean, when you think about the the shooting that happened in Colorado at the
Director of Corrections?
No, the
movie theater. There are
movie theater. Mm-hmm. Right. When you first get there, you've got victims, who are fatally wounded. You've got victims that aren't fatally wounded but need immediate help. You've got 300 witnesses that you've got to corral and make sure they're okay. You've got a crime scene there. You've got if you found the guy, you've got to deal with where he's at and what.
And how many of them were there? Right.
Right. And and then you've got to do the investigation to find his house, and you got to take control of as much stuff as you can, and it takes a lot of people to do that in a coordinated effort. So that's why we train all the time on incident command, and when we do the school shooting trainings in the summertime at the schools, all of that's incident command training.
And actually, to that point, the training, the FBI, we're hosting Marion County Sheriff's Office next week, Monday and Tuesday, active shooter training for executive leadership. So it's the incident command that the chief's talking about, but we're bringing it here to the sheriff's office. I know the chief's got some people in there. We'll have some SWAT people in there, and we'll have some of our leadership, our leaders in there. So I think we're going to have about 50 members from all across the state that's actually
That'd be at the college, or that'd be
it's going to be at the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
You mentioned kidnapping. Different kind of crime that we don't hear a lot about around here, but you see these movies and TV shows about a kidnapping, about you have this person who's trained in talking to the kidnapper. Do we have that in the sheriff's office and the police department? You have a person you can go to and say, talk him down or talk her down? Yeah. All right, tell me about that.
Well, we both have crisis negotiation teams.
Is that what it's called, crisis negotiation?
Yeah, so...
what are the rules of thumb there, basically?
Well,
not giving away secrets.
They're all trained. I mean, they're trained to talk to different individuals.
Keep the dialogue going, right?
Absolutely, and what's very important here is that, every individual that you deal with is certainly different. So you got personality levels, and they have different events in their lives that certainly we got to find out why they're actually taking the action that they're taking. So, but we both have teams that do an outstanding job.
Now, you would do that, Greg, when you would go and try to find a relative to come bring to the scene? How does that work out?
Well, every situation is going to be different. Most of the kidnapping incidents that you think about in the world, rarely do you get somebody on the phone. It's usually a child abduction, and the last thing they want is any kind of ransom or anything like that. If you get them holed up in a house or an apartment or a building, that's when you start the crisis negotiation. And it just like the sheriff said, all of our people are trained in how to do that, how not to, get them overly excited, but to calm them down, to talk them down from doing something stupid, not just to potential victim, but certainly to themselves too. It's an art form.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I just had a quick thought for a break about the stories that break, like when I was in Texas at the community college where somebody got stabbed, 14 people. Bizarre. Do you look at that and do you learn from those things, or do you wonder? First of all, you think, how did he stab 14 people? He must have been running from building to building to building, and no one tackled him or stopped him or something. But do you learn from other cases like that?
Absolutely. We, even when we have big cases, we go out and we talk about them. We're very critical on ourselves of what we did right, what we did wrong, what we can do to improve. And then, and when we have these conferences or meetings, we get together and we tell the story. Look, this is what we did, and this is what we did well, and this is what we were completely and totally unprepared for. And we go and listen to other people. I've listened to presentations of the Lockerbie airline crash, of Dahmer, the Dahmer case.
Really? That must have been fascinating.
Of the Virginia Tech shootings. And, you sit there and you think, okay, well, I could see where we would have responded the same way in that, or we probably would have handled it a little differently in that, but, oh my God, we didn't even think that this could occur. Yeah. So that's where we come back and prepare for it, and we learn from each other all the time. I mean,
that's the fear of the unknown.
What we call as a debrief, So basically, we debrief on almost every incident. Even if we had a high-speed chase out here today or tomorrow, the commander out there is going to debrief with the guys. And if there's something we could have done different than what we did, but it would help us be a little more successful, or even if there was an error made. That's why we do a debrief. We try to use every example to learn from it.
All right, he's Chris Bear, the sheriff. Greg Grant, the chief of police, is here. It's called Ask the Cops. We're going to take a break. We come back. I know we've got several people lined up. Questions already in the house for the sheriff and for the chief on Ask the Cops. Stay tuned to the program called The Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
Are you looking for a trustworthy auto care company that won't sell you something you don't need? Look no further than Affordable Auto Air and Care. Affordable Auto Air and Care has serviced Ocala for a decade and is family owned and operated. They offer quality parts at affordable prices, and they even include a 1-year or 12,000-mile warranty on their parts and labor. Their certified technicians work on any type of vehicle, even RVs. They specialize in auto AC, but they also offer oil changes, brake service, filters, tune-ups, shocks, axles, complete auto repair. Affordable Auto Air and Care is located at 1841 Northwest 4th Avenue on the corner of Old Jacksonville Road and 441. Call 352-401-0011 to book an appointment. That's 352-401-0011. Affordable Auto Air and Care. Complete auto repair. Take it from me, Tom Schmitz. I'm a customer.
It's Paris in the swinging 60s, and Bernard is living the high life. He's got a great career, a beautiful apartment, and 3 fiancées, each one a beautiful airline hostess. Bernard manages to keep the 3 from finding out about each other as they fly in and out of Paris until Boeing introduces a new, faster aircraft, and all the schedules are changing. It's Boeing, a hilarious comedy live on stage at Ocala Civic Theater through April 14th. Tickets are available at 352-236-2274 or online at ocalicivictheater.com. No wonder they call Paris the City of Love.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Home-owned and operated. WOCA, News Talk 1370.
This weather forecast brought to you by Tri-County Generators, 1-800-622-1957. Don't get caught with your power down. Call Tri-County Generators now, 1-800-622-1957.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Partly cloudy skies with a shower or thunderstorm in a few spots. Tonight's low 68 to 70. Clouds mixing in with some sunshine with a couple showers and even a thunderstorm. Saturday, high 83 to 88. Partly cloudy skies Saturday night, low 67 to 69. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Michael Stack.
WOCA
AM 1370
96.3 FM.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
welcome back to the program called Ask the Cops. And I want to take this moment to thank our sponsor, Daniel L. Hightower, attorney at law in downtown Ocala. And I was brought to my attention by the chief of police that Mr. Hightower recently won an award for interfaith, was it?
Yeah, him and Lynette Vermillion and Kevin McDonald, they were presented awards yesterday at the Interfaith Luncheon.
Nice. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's great.
Daniel is heavily involved in the community, as he has been for a long time, including the title sponsor of this show, every, what is it, guys? Second and fourth Friday of the month.
Right.
So we both, all of us, are kind of one time or another figure, all right, is it the second or is it the first? But we got it down now, so we know we're on our timetable. Okay, it's time now for really the part of the show that I like the best, where I don't have to talk too much. It's called Ask the Cops, and that is the questions that are coming at you. We got a couple in the house. I believe we go back to the studio now and talk to Tom Schmitz, who's standing by with a couple of internet questions. And the phone lines are now officially open at 622-9622. If you're out of the county, obviously, or out of the area code, it's 352. And ask whatever question you'd like to ask of the High Sheriff and the Chief of Police right here on the program. Tom, what you got?
That's right, buddy. The WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline is open at 622-9622. But an internet question real quick. It concerns neighbors throwing parties. This person says they don't mind their neighbors throwing parties, but is there a certain time at night when parties have to quiet down or go inside so that they aren't disturbing to the neighborhood?
Well, I'm wondering if they're upset because they didn't get invited to the party.
Well, what they say, it's not a party till they call the cops, right?
Right, yeah. Actually, it's not a time of day. If a party's out of control or it's too loud any time during the day, you can call us or call the sheriff, depending on where it's at, and we'll go out and ask them to quiet down. But, anytime it's disturbing you is a time to call. There's no magic time or magic number that it occurs. I mean, we've responded to loud parties during the middle of the day. We've responded to them, early evening, and we've responded to them at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, at any point in time that it's bothering you, pick the phone up and call.
Well, I go back what the chief said. If you invite all your neighbors to the party, you won't have any complaints. So that's the best thing to do. So, but we will respond anytime from on behalf of the sheriff's office. And I know some of them out there probably do get a little noisy, and we will address it and tell them to settle down a little bit. But I know the best way to handle it is invite the neighbor.
Of course, sure. If you're assuming they'd come. My neighbors might not come to my party. I don't know.
That may be too.
Well, and when we do respond, just so everybody knows, usually the first time we respond, we just go up, and I'm sure the sheriff's office does the same thing. We ask them to quiet down, and we don't make them shut it off. But if we end up coming back the second time or even more, then we pretty much shut them down and make them quit. So, we do get follow-up phone calls like, well, you showed up but you didn't do anything. Well, yeah, we went in and asked them to turn it down because, as long as they're not disturbing anybody, they can party all they want to. So.
And I think we find that most neighbors are respectful of the others, so they don't realize they're that noisy.
That's my group. Right. Tom, I got one. If you don't, you got one more?
I do have one more. A young lady texted in, said she was following a car that didn't look like it had but one brake light working. Is there an ordinance that says how many brake lights have to be working on a car before they get pulled over?
The law is you have to have a light on the back of your car that illuminates when you hit your brakes. I don't know that you necessarily have to have two, but if I'm behind a car that only has one brake light, I stop it. But if you're following a car like that, yeah, you can pick the phone up and call us, but the chances of us being able to show up there and stop them is going to be pretty slim, because unless we've got somebody right there. But as long as you've got something in the back of your car that illuminates when you hit your brakes, you're usually okay.
But Chief, you don't recommend we stop them. Just you, right?
No.
No, let us stop them. And and basically, if we do see someone with one light out, very strong possibility they don't even know it's out.
Right.
So certainly we'll do a traffic stop and inform them that they have one out.
Mm-hmm. Buddy, we have a caller.
All right.
Debbie.
Yes.
Hi, Debbie. What's your question for the sheriff and the chief?
I do. I was wondering, is there a law to determine who's at fault if you get into an accident on private property, like a parking lot?
Say one more time.
I was wondering if there's a law to determine who's at fault if you get into an accident, like a fender bender in a parking lot on private property?
The law is no different on private property than it is on a normal roadway. If the parking lot is accessed by the general population, has access by the general population, then all the traffic laws apply. A lot of agencies, most agencies, and Ocala PD is one of them, we elect not to enforce traffic laws on private property and private property crashes on unless it has to deal with an injury or a death or a criminal violation. So if you're driving through a parking lot and somebody pulls out of a stall and hits you, in a situation like that, yes, the person pulling out of the stall is at fault. We're going to show up. We're going to investigate the crash, and we're going to find the person at fault, but we're not going to issue a citation. But for insurance purposes, they're at fault.
So is it true, and this is probably more of an insurance question, that you need to call the police to make sure there's a record of the accident because of insurance? Is that true?
Well, yeah. In fact, we had an incident the other day that occurred and ended up happening to someone that I knew where they backed into a car in a parking lot and they got out and the person that's sitting there says, not much damage, don't worry about it. So the person got in the car and drove away, and then the other person had a second thoughts and called us, and unfortunately when we get there, it's someone who has left the scene of a crash. So we ended up tracking them down, and they got a ticket for that because it's a criminal violation. So, if you get into a crash in a parking lot, the best thing to do is call us. We're going to show up, make sure the information is exchanged so that insurance is properly, documented on both ends, and so that it gets taken care of.
Sheriff Blair, you got a little bigger territory. If something happens out in the forest and on private, it's kind of hard to get out there to investigate.
Well, first of all, we on the sheriff's office don't investigate traffic.
None at all.
No, we didn't
know that.
I spent 35 years at the sheriff's office, never investigated a traffic accident.
FHP,
so
then,
we're called the Florida Highway Patrol.
Yeah, and it seemed like I jumped on both of those questions, but I knew the sheriff's office did more crashes.
Yeah,
so
and I learned something. And I appreciate that. No problem at all. He had the answer.
There you go.
Buddy, we got a caller, Hugh.
Hello, you're on with Sheriff Blair and Chief Graham. What you got for us?
Okay, hello guys. Thank you very much for what you do. I feel very comfortable going to bed at night knowing both you guys are taking care of us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hugh.
Has there a real quick question on both departments? Have there been any officers killed in the line of duty? And if they have, is there like a plaque commemorating their service in our area here?
Yes, we've had some in the line of duty, and May 11th, I believe it is, the 16th memorial will be held up in Tallahassee, and that's a yearly event, and to honor them.
Actually, I'm sorry, Sheriff. There is a plaque. It's at the Law Enforcement Memorial that's here, right at where the county commission is, McPherson's. And the reason I said May 16th is because May 16th is the day that we are going to have a ceremony honoring the people that have been killed in the line of duty since the beginning of time here.
Really? Do you know how many that is by any chance?
I want to say it's I believe it's 16.
Yeah, I think you're right around there.
One of them was a sheriff, by the way, named Ed Porter, who was killed by somebody.
Many years ago.
And my mother worked for that man, so that's why I knew that.
The last one was a deputy that was killed in 2004. But on the 16th, and I believe it's at 10 in the morning, the public's welcome to come. And actually, it's a very impressive ceremony because the Sheriff's Honor Guard, who won the award in D.C., participates. Our Honor Guard participates. There are bagpipes there. We do a flyover with the Sheriff's helicopter. We've got a guest speaker. But May the 12th, which is the Sunday, that's National Police Week. And there's a ceremony that's held in Washington, D.C., that all of our officers that have been killed in Marion County are on the National Memorial Wall. And then sometime that weekend, unfortunately I don't have the date in front of me, there's and it may be the 11th, there's a ceremony in Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, yeah, because at the Florida Sheriff's Association up there, they have a wall with all the fallen officers up there in the state of Florida.
Have you ever had an experience, either of you, you've lost officers?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that particular
one?
Well,
we along with Florida Department Law Enforcement, investigated the death of Brian Litz, and he was shot in the line of duty, responding to a well-being check, basically.
And I know it's a very close-knit fraternity. Families are very close, and you have the bagpipes and whatever. And I know it must be really, really grim to think about that. I was thinking last night about the guts it takes to be a cop. I was thinking, well, maybe I saw something next door in this vacant house of mine. I would hate to have to get a flashlight and go next door and look. I don't think I got the guts to do that at 2 o'clock in the morning. And yet you guys do this stuff all the time. And I think we take it for granted, but it takes courage, doesn't it?
Well, it takes that, and also it takes a lot of training, and I think what's most important, I think I probably speak a lot for law enforcement officers, that we do it because we believe that that's our gift, and I've always believed that. That's what I was put on earth to do, was to be a law enforcement officer, and regardless of what the consequences were. And my father was a law enforcement officer, and you'll find that many generations follow each other, and it's in their blood. And but training is so important to keep our officers safe. Today I put 4 new sergeants in our training section during my organization of the sheriff's office, and we're going to be going into a combat ready type training program where they'll be taken off the road. They won't know when they're going to be taken off the road, and lieutenants will fill in, sergeants will fill in to cover calls, but we want to make sure that they're prepared to handle tough situations, make sure their weapons are good to go, and I think it's going to be a very interesting type training program.
Sounds interesting. All right, Tommy, you got anything else back there? If you don't, I got a couple here I want to ask you.
Phone lines right now are open. If you want to, reach us at Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622.
All right. Here's one for you from Ed in Bellevue. Internet question: how can I become a cop? Are there age restrictions? And what are the qualifications and benefits, etc.? Who wants to take that first?
Well, the minimum age is 19 to go through the academy. There's really no maximum age as long as you're physically fit and can do the job. And if you got a clean background, you go out to Central Florida Community College, College of Central Florida.
It's hard to remember that as College of Central Florida, isn't it? We have to remember that because the coaches will be here in a little bit.
Right. And actually, Sheriff Blair's wife is in charge of part of that program out there. But you go through the academy, through the college. They've also got an academy in Lake County, and then with Lacucci, you become certified. You go through the class, you become certified, and then you get hired by a law enforcement agency. In the meantime, if Ed wants to come out and ride, we've got a ride-along program. I believe the Sheriff's Office has a ride-along program, too. And actually, it's true for any citizen. At least for us, if you want to come ride with one of our officers, you're certainly welcome to. But it's an honorable profession, and although it'll sound self-serving, the men and women that are out there protecting our community are extremely brave.
Yeah, that's not self-serving at all. And Sheriff, I know you're always looking for a few good men or women, right?
Well, absolutely. But as the Chief said, my wife is a coordinator for the correctional side out there, so she trains all the correction officers. She coordinates the training, and and I'm a firearm range master out there for the College of Central Florida, and then you got the law enforcement side of it too. So they can handle everything out there to get you prepared. Once you're prepared, if we would hire you, then you would come on board with us. I have a 12-week program, field training program that they would go into, ride with another officer. Though they just completed, about 10 months, they got to get updated with our policies and procedures at the Marion County Sheriff's Office, and I'm sure it's the same with the Chief over there. So it's a lot of effort to get there, because it almost takes you a year just to get state certified.
Got to find them, got to train them, and get them certified. All right, the program's called Ask the Cops, featuring the Sheriff, Chris Blair, and the Chief, Greg Graham. It's sponsored by Daniel L. Hightower, attorney at law. We're at the Community Gazette Day at Gateway Bank. When we come back, we'll talk about things, a little bit lighter subjects like role models and, yes, TV cops. Coming up next right here on the program called The Voice of Ocala on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of Kinetic Motion Fitness here in Ocala, Florida. A lot of you have experienced our great classes in personal and small group training, but did you know we now offer dynamic workouts on DVD? These high-quality, locally produced, effective DVD workouts can go where you go. Going on vacation? No problem. We can go with you. Friends and relatives out of town who are jealous that you get to come to KMF? No problem. We ship anywhere in the United States for free. Our great lineup of 4 DVDs includes Kinetic Achieve, Kinetic Couples, Fitness, Kinetic Core, and Kinetic Campus. 4 great workouts for the entire family on DVD. Sound interesting? Check them out on our website at kmfocala.com. While you're there, check out our class schedule and come see us. We're only 5 minutes from downtown across from the Skylark Plaza. Visit kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. KMF will get you results at our studio or at home with one of our DVDs. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are. Visit kmfocala.com for more information.
Commercial bank approval. Vehicle purchase across the fixed rate allowance.
So, whoosh! That's the sound of my broom working overtime, because this month I'm sweeping the streets of Ocala to rid the city of old clunkers so you can drive a nicer, newer car today.
Hey, this is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. Right now, I'll give you a lot more over your appraised value for your old car. Even if you're still making payments, even the worst clunkers qualify, and nice cars too. So trade up to a clean car today.
Plus, my sweeping is keeping the bankers from sleeping, because my For the People credit approval process gives my banks and lenders more opportunity to help good people like you.
So wave goodbye to that old car you're stuck in and say hello to a bright and shiny, nicer, newer car today. Get a lot more over appraised value for your old car.
Even if you're still making payments, trade up to clean up today.
Hurry, once I get rid of 57 cars, this auto makeover is over. I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people. Visit me at Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala or Bellevue.
Or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige!
Hi, this is Brad, one of the hosts of Winging It here on WOCA every Friday at 9 a.m. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue regarding aviation. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots, in part due to the lack of new pilots starting their flight training now. A pilot needs 2 to 3 years to get through their training and to build up enough flight time to be able to be hired. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a private pilot's license. This license will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. Now, of course, the student does not have to have aspirations of becoming a commercial pilot. If they simply have a desire to obtain their private pilot's license so they may enjoy the adventures of flying, they may also apply for the scholarship. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact me, Brad, or Ron at Ocala Aviation Services. 861-7484. That's 861-7484.
Why are so many Florida residents racing to the Walt Disney World theme parks to rediscover their all-time favorite classic attractions and explore what's new? They got a great deal on the 3-day Discover Disney ticket for just $119 plus tax. And why should you be racing to WOCA.com right now? Because you could win your tickets from the source. So get going. Visit WOCA.com for full details on how to win your 3-day Discover Disney tickets.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, welcome back to the program called The Voice of Ocala. This is called Ask the Cops with the Sheriff, Chris Blair, and the Chief of Police, Greg Graham, brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, attorney at law, fighting for accident victim justice. Well, we left the program a minute ago. We said we're going to talk about things like role models and then TV cops. Let's take role models real quick. Did you have one, and if so, who it was? Let's start with you, Greg.
Well, obviously, my main role model is should be just about everybody else's role model, but it's Christ our Lord. But for law enforcement, I look back on the former police chiefs that I worked for, and one in particular that really had a profound impact on my career is Andy Credemeyer. It's funny, when I was a patrol officer, he was my sergeant. Every time he got promoted, it seemed like I got promoted, and I worked for him for over 20 years. And he just had a great spirit about him, and was just an honorable guy, and really taught me a lot. I still remember things today that I apply in my life.
Is he alive today?
Yeah. He lives up in McIntosh, and I think he's got a place up in Tennessee. He goes in the summertime and drives horses, and he's just a great guy.
I know yours is your dad, because I've talked to you about this before, but besides your dad, who's an excellent one, by the way, was there somebody else who you really respected and liked, and you somewhat model your career after, Chris?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Sheriff Don Moreland. He hired me back in 1975, and he endorsed me for the run for sheriff. And he was one that ran an agency. He always knew where he stood, took care of business, and he always had our interests first. And I think, and also the community at heart. So just a great guy. And
what a record he had, too.
Absolutely. I mean, he served 20 years as sheriff here.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got about a minute and a half to go here. This is a really important topic. The big one of the day, TV cops. We've had this discussion off the microphones and stuff about who it was, and you can't use Mayberry RFD, just in case you want to throw that out there. I know you got more than one bullet in your gun, so you can't use that one. But let's talk about it. I mean, most people think, well, they got to watch these TV shows about cops, CSI, et cetera, et cetera. There are a few. Give me if you had to just watch one TV cop show, Chris, what would it be?
Well, I'm going to go straight to cold case. I've been a major crime guy since a young man. So, and we do cold case episodes out at Top of the World every month. I started that 2 years ago.
You pack them in out there,
We pack them in. 100-plus people show up every month. It's the largest attended class of 1,200 that they offer out there. So I'm not the only one who likes cold case.
I like them, too. They're interesting. And, all right. You going to use Magnum PI, Greg? Or
well, no. He wasn't a cop, but
he had a gun.
Yeah, he did, and a Ferrari.
And his flowered shirt.
Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of cop shows. I did growing up, and I like Columbo. He was always cool. I just like the way he talked to people, and he's down to earth. He's the kind of guy to get along with, and if I can't use Andy Griffith, then I'm kind of at a loss because I don't watch a lot of cop shows.
There are these other shows. Got about a minute. The CSI stuff. The forensic thing has gotten so huge. I know that that's big. Like you said about the scene, crime scene. Now, so important to protect that. In 20 seconds or so, talk about how forensics have changed police work. Chris, first you.
It's all about DNA. Back in 2002, and it took me a few years to be able to look at a DNA screening lab at the sheriff's office, and it was about reducing time and getting information on the suspect. So we went from about a 2.5-year period on homicide suspects. We now can go to 8 to 12 days and have results.
Yeah, DNA's changed everything. The thing that's kind of hurt us is, these TV shows that they show all this stuff and how quickly it happens and how easy it is, and that's not the real world. But we've got touch DNA now. I mean, it's amazing what we can do, and it's only going to be a matter of time before the technology is going to be there that the officer is going to be able to swab something at a scene, stick in the computer, and it's going to tell us who it is.
Amazing.
I know it's the technology. From when Chris started, has dramatically changed.
Absolutely.
Think about what it's going to be like in 15 years from now. Gentlemen, good show. Thanks very much for doing this. We'll see you again in 2 weeks here at the bank on Ask the Cops, presented again by Daniel L. Hightower, attorney at law fighting for accident victim justice. Thanks to Sheriff Chris Blair and Chief of Police Greg Graham. Coming up next, it's going to be Buddy Sports Page. Stay tuned for the CF coaching staff right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me all summer long.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA The Source.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Don't ever miss a single edition of the Mike Huckabee Show. We're going to have a whole lot of fun talking the big issues of the day. We'll talk to the newsmakers and the issues that made them a newsmaker, as well as we'll bring you some entertainment, some fun. You never know what's going to happen on the Mike Huckabee Show. Don't miss it.
Join Mike Huckabee every weekday from noon to 3 exclusively on WOCA The Source.
In this moment, who has your back? An insurance company delivering excellence during your claims process? Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the Auto Insurance Claims Experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power & Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Let an Auto Owners independent insurance agency have your back, so when the unthinkable happens, you get the claims service you deserve. Call George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today, 352-732-3191.
Hey, Larry, nice haircut.
Oh, thanks, Robin. Looks like you had something different done, too.
Yes, I did. Thanks for noticing. I went to Lupe at Merle Norman on the Boulevard for a fresh cut, some summer highlights, and a facial.
No kidding. That's who I go to. I didn't know she did all that.
She does coloring, waxing, styling, updos, microderms, and she does it all for prices that won't break the bank.
Sounds like you can take the whole family there.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Hi, this is Lupe. Let me be your personal stylist. To set up your appointment, call me today, 426-1229.
Cookies, 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 cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
may have kept you out of the mall. President Obama will sit out his weekly radio address. He's giving the mic to a mom from Connecticut. Francine Wheeler's son was killed in the Sandy Hook shooting. The president tweeted today, it's a message everyone should hear. Your boss wants you to get that sleep apnea treated. The common sleep disorder causes people to wake up through the night. A German study says you're probably less productive at work if you have it because you're sleepy. Guys, what you wear under your arms could get you a second date. Most female respondents to a poll by Oxygen Media say body odor is the #1 turnoff. A mustache on a woman topped the men's list of no-nos. Ever break up with someone by Facebook? A new survey finds nearly 20% of people have terminated a relationship after arguing online. This is ABC News.
Only the Home Depot has kiddo worry-free smoke alarms from just $24.97. A sealed lithium battery keeps these alarms working for 10 years so you never change batteries. With 4 models for specific rooms in your home, like a lighted hallway alarm or voice alert bedroom alarm, upgrade your smoke alarms and set your worries aside for 10 years. Kiddo worry-free smoke alarms starting at just $24.97. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. U.S. only. See store for details.
The Masters. There's magic in the air. Spring has arrived in Augusta. And today, new dramas will unfold. And heroes will emerge. This is the home of timeless beauty, of storied competition, of the elusive green jacket. This is where new dreams will come true. Second round coverage of the Masters, today on ESPN.
How much time? 30 seconds. I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Okay. Enough kidding around.
Ho, 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 ho.
And now it's time for the Buddy Martin Sports Page.
He actually had me stay here last night in his gym.
It's like I don't fit in. It's like I don't belong here.
Let's go talk to a couple of guys that never gamble.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you on the phone house at the same time. He didn't think we could do it.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
And now, here's Buddy.
All right, welcome to the Friday Drive presented by Prestige Auto. We're at the Community Gazette today at the Gateway Bank, and we've got the coaching staff from CF ready to go. Meanwhile, let's go out to Prestige Auto, where the hardest working man in show business has got a bunch of cars he'd like to be able to get rid of. I think you could probably find a good price out there right now, right, Chris?
Yes, sir. I've just been sitting back actually last little bit listening to your show with our two law enforcement officers, Greg and Chris. I'm glad those guys are on our side.
Good ones to have. Speaking of guys on our side, I got a coaching staff here that's on our side, and what a tremendous performance by the CF Patriots winning a national championship. I know you're proud of that too, Chris.
Yes, sir. That's good news. People like that and yourself to keep Ocala on the map with good positive things is a great thing for us as we make our way back into a little healthier economy.
Now, I know you love your cars, but you didn't buy them to keep out there. You like to get them moved, right?
No, sir. It seems like I've got 7 really nice folks selling cars or helping, solution specialists, I call them, and just me buying. And quite frankly, the better they get, the more that people like yourself help promote Prestige. It seems like the harder I'm having to run to keep up with them. But no, I've got 133 or 4 cars in stock right now. I looked about an hour ago, and I'm awful proud of them, but I'm not in love with any of them. So if anybody out there is looking for a nice car in just about any budget range, or you've got one to sell, it's I need about 15 or 20 a week just to keep up with the guys. Had a family come in about an hour and a half ago and sell us a real nice one-owner 2009 Toyota Corolla XLE with leather and all. And those little cars like that we can buy and sell for around $10,000. They're just gold, because not everybody's got a $25,000 or $30,000 budget for transportation to work.
Well, I know they call you the yes man because you do make good deals. That's why I set members of my family out there and other people, and you've been able to take care of them, as I'm sure you can for others. So tell them again about, we got 2 locations to serve you right there in right on College Road, right on 200, and also out in Bellevue. And you're open for business this weekend, and you'll be available for people to come kick the tires, right?
Yes, sir. With the summer hours, we're now up until 8 o'clock at night. We've got our website, prestigeforyou.com, and there you can really do just about everything anymore. You can get your trade appraised. You can get pre-approved for financing. You can see probably 40 pictures of each vehicle. Every car, we have a free vehicle history report that you can see right on the website, and you just get all your questions answered. So when you come in, it's really just a matter of taking the car around the block. Everything we sell comes with a guarantee. If we don't sell cars as is. I know there's probably 50 folks in town selling cars with different varied levels of sales, but if I don't feel good enough to put a guarantee on it, then I'd just take it to the auction.
All right, Chris Spears is the man to see your Prestige Auto. 2 locations to serve you. Have a great weekend, Chris.
All right, buddy. Hey, buddy, we're closed on Sundays.
Closed on
Sundays. So come out and see us tomorrow. We're open from 9 to 7, and we're with our family and praising our Lord on Sundays.
Gotcha, man. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, now time to welcome into the champions. I heard that song played a few times on by Queen on Wednesday down the Courthouse Square, where there was a proud coaching staff and team and members of the community and the president. It was quite a day, and right in the middle of that was the guy named Tim Ryan, who had a dream. I like to kid him about it. It wasn't big enough, Tim. We talked about that.
Yes, sir.
It worked out well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd just like to say one little plug for Chris is he used to play at CF. He was a basketball player back, I believe he played for Coach Smithson. He played
really?
For one
I
of the
didn't know. I know he played with Coach Augie Griner, his friend, as a kid. I didn't know that. He was a Patriot, huh?
Chris was a Patriot at one time.
How about that? You got him everywhere, don't you? Well, we're talking before we got on, and we're glad to have both Lance and Tito here to talk about what they've been such a big contribution to this championship. And I know you talk about them a lot, but they can never get enough credit for what they did. Let's talk about you for a second. And when I talked to you on the phone when you were coming back on the bus, you were a little bit tired, and the team was tired. Have you had a chance to finally sit back and take a deep breath and say, "Wow, I can't believe we just did that"?
No, it's sinking in more now, because when you come back, and when we came back and we arrived at school, there was 100 people there to cheer us on, and they had a little celebration for it, and you started to realize how big it was. And then I talked to people, and people started reaching out to me. I've had over 1,000 people that have reached out to me, either text, Facebook, and you're starting to get a feel of how big this is. And guys in town like yourself, and people that are the movers and shakers here, and they're just telling you how much this means to everybody in town. And when we won the championship, one of the first thoughts I had was how great this is for the community. I had a couple of different thoughts. Actually, my first thought right before the buzzer went off was about my brother. I have a brother that was an All-American basketball player, played NAIA, was an All-American. He passed away a number of years ago, and I just thought of him and how great he would think this is for this to happen. And then I thought of my players, what an achievement this is for my guys. And then I thought, this is just going to be unbelievable for this town. It's just going to be tremendous for us. So it has sunk in more and more while we go along. But there's been a lot of work to it, winning a championship. So it's been keeping us very busy.
Yeah, you said a very busy time for you right now. Recruiting, you got your team here, players are still coming back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you need to take just a minute, Coach, and take a deep breath and inhale and exhale and realize this is a wonderful moment for you as well. You're not a guy that likes to talk about Tim Ryan very much. And it's great for the community. It's great for the kids. It's great for the college. It's great for you. You deserve this. You worked hard. You had an outstanding career as a coach of the victories you won and the numbers of wins you got already, and the state championship now you got, and the conference championships that you've won. And now I know you're a worker, you want to get back to work and you want to keep going, but just take it for a moment, because let's face it, it took a long time to accomplish that, and probably may not be happening next year. It could, but think about how rare this is and how wonderful it is for you as well.
I appreciate everything you just said, buddy. It is, it's tough, though. We've got to get to work. I had a great 4 days. I told you, went out to the Final Four. Had a great 4 days, probably the most enjoyable Final Four I've been to, from the standpoint of I got out of the office for 4 days, and I was able to not have to do a lot of those things that we've had to work on for this championship. So I got away, and you know, out the Final Four, there's 10,000 coaches out there, because it's the national convention for college coaches, and everybody coming up to you, congratulating you. Guys like Bobby Huggins and just all over coming up and congratulating you. Guys you don't know coming up and saying, "Coach, I don't know who you are, but I mean, you don't know who I am, but it's amazing what you guys have done." So you know, it's kind of hit you out there, and it was fun. It was relaxing, but right now it's hard to breathe.
I bet it is. Now, I'm going to ask you a tough question, and one probably you're going to be mad at me about. I'm going to ask you this question, let you think about it during the break, and come back, and then we'll introduce everybody to Tito Arias, and then we'll have Coach Lawrence on next after that. So we'll take a little moment. I'm going to ask you about, what if that one call comes to you? I know you've had to think about it, even though you're a Marion County guy. You love this venue. You think it's the greatest in junior college basketball. I'm going to ask you honestly, what's going to happen if that one call comes and says, "We'd like to talk to you"? We'll take a break. We'll come back to the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports page. We're live at the Gateway Bank on Community Gazette Day. Stay tuned to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly "Are You Kidding Me" rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
WOCA. You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Call me crazy. Some people say insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. I think insanity is 1,000 single-sided full-color business cards for $15 or packing service for 50% off. Call me crazy. Regency Printing on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Look for the yellow signs.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Partly cloudy skies with a shower or thunderstorm in a few spots. Tonight's low 68 to 70. Clouds mixing in with some sunshine with a couple showers and even a thunderstorm. Saturday, high 83 to 88. Partly cloudy skies Saturday night, low 67 to 69. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Michael Stack.
Hi, this is Joe, and I'm your host for the new show, Damage Control, every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m., brought to you by Damage Control Services. We're going to be discussing floods, fires, storm and tree damage, sinkholes, mold, and many other disasters that you need to know about, how to prevent and prepare for them, as well as what to do when it happens and what to expect after it happens. This is Damage Control, Tuesdays at 10:30, right here on The Source.
WOCA.
All right, welcome back to Buddy Sports Page. Before we go back to the coaching staff at CF, we got Coach Tim Ryan here along with Tito Arias and Lance Foreman. We'll be talking to Coach Arias next. Meanwhile, out in Augusta, Freddie Couples in the house at 5 under. He's finished. And Leishman, the leader, yesterday is now at 5, so that's tied along with Tiger Woods is now 5. Our local guy, Teddy Potter, he's right. He's finished for the day, and he is at 5 over, which means he's within 10 shots. If it finishes this way, Teddy Potter will make his cut in his first Masters. All right, back with Coach Tim Ryan. And, Coach, before we meet Tito and talk about him, let's talk for a second about you and getting that phone call, and you and your wife have probably discussed this, although you've never talked about it publicly. And I talked to the president about it a little bit. What's your situation now if something happens where you get that phone call and says, we want to talk?
Well, I've gotten phone calls that people say they want to talk. It's getting that right phone call. I'm like anyone else. If a situation arises that is that attractive to me, yes, then I will entertain it. I haven't gotten that. It's going to take a lot to be attractive to me. We really like it here. We think we've established something very good here. Love the people at the college. Have really good friends in this community. My son's going to be a senior in high school next year. It's going to take a lot to get me out of here. There's a lot of reasons that I'd like to stay here. So for me to leave, I would never say never, but for me to leave, it's going to have to take a really good offer for me to get out of here. I've had some phone calls, but they haven't been the right phone calls yet.
Okay, good answer. And finally, situation at Rutgers. We talked about it with the coach there who was in an abusive situation. We talked about the fact this wasn't the first time he'd done it, but all coaches have this edge they live on. What are your thoughts about that? And you think it happens elsewhere?
It probably does. I'm sure it does. That was disturbing to watch that. However, I also feel for that guy because, like you said, there is that edge, and I think the younger guys, as you get a little older, I think you understand that edge a little bit better, and you can see a younger guy maybe crossing that line. I feel for that guy. Does it happen elsewhere? Probably. I hope it doesn't happen that much, but I think the guy deserves to be fired, although I do feel for him because I think I can understand that as a coach, although I've never ever done anything like that.
I've seen you coach. I didn't see you throwing any chairs out there at CF, but I can see. So with that, let's talk to a guy you coached with on the bench. Has been with you now, and Tito. I believe Tito left and came back, didn't he?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Coach Tito Arias joins us. Nice to have you, Coach Arias.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Why don't you give us a little background on yourself, so that those of us who haven't been around you a lot, who is Tito Arias?
Well, I'm originally from Miami. I played college ball down there. I started off at Miami-Dade Community College. I played there for a year. I then transferred to the University of Maine at Machias. Played for a guy there named Brack Brady. Played 2 years for him, actually 3. And then I started my coaching career there. Spent a year there with him. Okay, and then that summer after that year, I got a call from one of my former assistants, a guy that coached me down there at Miami-Dade, said that Coach Ryan was looking for an assistant, and as soon as he told me that, I was like, absolutely, I'll be. So he kind of talked to Coach a little bit, and next thing you know, I came up for for an interview, and actually when I left after the interview, I was like, man, I don't think I'm gonna end up here. I don't think it went that well, and I sent Coach an email after saying thank you and everything. I was hoping to get a response back, and I did, which was for me was probably from my coaching career the best thing that ever happened to me. Coach has been like a father figure to me, and I'll definitely whatever he asks me to do, I'll run through a wall for him, and it's been great. Being here for 5 years and watching where our program has gone, and I know in the way we do it, and I really believe in what we do here, and the way the structure that we have for our guys, and and everything is starts with Coach, and it's been an unbelievable ride, and for him to have me here to be a part of it, it's been tremendous.
I asked Coach Ryan Tito's role in the team, and I talk about him leaving, coming back, and talk about what you saw in this young man and why you gave him the job.
I can't remember the interview.
Thanks a lot. I know. Tito, you made a real impression, apparently.
I know he was the leading candidate, but he was the only candidate we had. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's what Steve Spurrier told the coach one time when they hired him. He said, "Why'd you hire me?" He said, "You were cheap and you were available." That's what he told him.
No, actually, Tito said he played at Miami-Dade, and I remember when Tito played, and it was my first year here. I coached against him at Miami-Dade, and he's just he has a love for the game, a passion for the game, a guy that wants to learn, and a guy that wants to work hard. And that's what I'm looking for. I got to have guys here that want to work hard, and he's just a bull. He's just a bull. I don't know if you know the rapper Pitbull. That's a buddy of his.
I have all his albums at home.
That's a buddy of his. Yeah. But he's the real bull right here. He's the real deal.
Now, so tell me about this ride, Coach Arias, that you come back here, you left, came back, now you're on this fast-moving train, and, first it's the state tournament in Chipola, where, you never won the championship. You get past that, that feels pretty good, and now you're going, and now this train doesn't stop. Talk about that ride.
Getting the job done down in Mariana was, being there, I've been, with Coach for, the last, the 4 years before, and getting there, not getting the job done. And to finally get over the hump in Mariana was just, it was unbelievable, the feeling. I remember having vision, like how it will feel, because, when you, especially getting to the championship game the year before with that group of guys, and hearing them, the song come on, the song that you spoke about, the champion song, and it's just like, man, I can't wait till that day, and when I was able, when Coach brought me back and I was able to get back, and when we had that chance and when we won it and finally heard that song and we were the ones cutting down the net, it was unbelievable. I mean, and for the guys that we have, you have a great group of sophomores, and I love them to death, and for them to get that done was unbelievable. And then, when we got to Hutch, we started the year last year over there. So it was like, I almost like felt like, we're going to be all right. Our guys have played in this arena before. Our sophomores have. And, when we got there, we've been there, we were there for 5 days last year. So, we were, there's some, we were accustomed to it a little bit. Yeah, familiar with it. So, and a lot of those teams haven't played in that arena. And, I just thought, I remember it was in the second half of the Central Arizona game, where we just turned it on to another level, and the effort that our guys gave. I just remember when that game finally, when we broke away and we got that win, I was just like, we're gonna get it done. I mean, there's nobody's gonna play harder than we are, and I just felt that, and I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now. But it was that feeling I got after that game. I was just like, our guys are not gonna, they're not gonna let anybody just beat us. We're gonna get it done. So.
Coach Ryan said the first thing he thought of was his brother. What was your brother's name, by the way?
Charlie.
Charlie. What was your first thought when you won the championship?
Honestly,
yeah.
I didn't know what to think. I mean, that it was 2 seconds left, and I was telling Coach this the other day, and I was just like, we were up. I believe we were five with 2 seconds left. Yeah. And I still, for some reason, thought, the game wasn't going to end. I was freaking out still, because, you work you stay up all night preparing and doing everything, and it's just like,
Is this really going to happen, you think?
Yeah, you're like, wait a second. We still, everybody stay focused. I'm like trying to control, and it's just like when it finally sounded, I was just like, we're champions, and it was unbelievable. I mean, words can't, and like Coach said, it hits you more and more as the days go, and because it's our first time there, and it's just we won, and it's like holy cow. So.
Final thoughts about Coach Arias. What does he do good? He's obviously a good floor coach. Does he break down film? Is he a scout? What are some of his attributes he brought to your coaching staff?
I mentioned it before. The biggest thing that he does for us, there's a lot of things he does. He talked about how hard our guys go. They get so much of that from him because of the passion he brings to the game, the love for the game. Guys feed off of that. And they feel that. And in the last couple of years, those guys have really worked so hard, and he deserves so much credit for that.
That's pretty good stuff right there. All right, we've met Coach Arias. Coming up next, we're going to talk to your other staff member, Lance Foreman, and we'll follow up on what's next for the CF Patriots. Because what have you done for me lately, Coach? The National Championship Coaching Staff for Junior College Basketball here at Gateway Bank on the Community Gazette Day. I'm Buddy Martin. The program is called The Voice of Ocala, Buddy Sports Page. Stay tuned. More coming your way right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
This is Don with ABC Fredericks Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Fredericks Appliance does repairs too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
Main Street Chamber Marion presents One Great Weekend, Two Great Events. Saturday and Sunday, April 13th and 14th at the India Cultural Hall, 2030 Northeast 36th Avenue, 2 blocks north of Silver Springs Boulevard. Free admission. It's the second annual Spring Expo for home, garden, and business. Saturday from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Door prizes every half hour. Taste of Spring featuring Twilight Jazz music. Saturday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come vote for your favorite dishes. 10 dishes, only $20, and you can share. Find all the details at mainstreetchambermarion.org. One great weekend, two great events. Saturday and Sunday, April 13th and 14th. WOCA will be there broadcasting live. See you there.
The sound of the bat cracking, the crowd cheering, the smell of overpriced but tasty hot dogs, the memories that will last a lifetime of your first baseball game with little Johnny. Your team wins. It was a great night until you get home. It's 9 p.m. and your wife says you have no water.
We have no water.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Rule number 1, don't panic. Remain calm. Okay, that's 2 rules.
We don't have time for jokes, funny man.
Okay, think back. On the way home, you heard a radio commercial.
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Eureka! You saved the day. You remembered that Mike Scott Plumbing doesn't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. You are a genius.
Hey, Mr. Genius, did you remember the phone number?
Of course you did. Remember, you're a genius. 352-237-2888. Because at Mike Scott Plumbing, if water runs through it, we do it. Even if water's not running through it at this particular moment. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Welcome back to Buddy's Sports Page on a Friday at Gateway Bank. Before we meet the other member of the coaching staff here, I want to mention a couple of highlights here. We just kind of got passed over. This happened so fast, Tim Ryan, the victory by the Patriots in the national championship. A lot of things kind of got overlooked. One of them, you just won your 200th game.
That's correct.
That's a lot of wins, Coach, I mean, think about it. 200 wins.
Had a lot of good players.
Yeah.
Good players.
Well, you coached them pretty well, too. So that was this year was a great ride, and one I'm sure you'll remember for the rest of your life. Is there any 1 or 2 moments besides that moment when you thought about your brother, you thought about the championship? Overall, I know you're close to your team. Is there any one moment you'll take with you to say, I can't wait to tell my grandkids one day about this?
Whew. You know, I can't really, but without you, the state championship, winning that state championship, as Tito had talked about before, was really the thrill of the season for me. You know, anything that you work hard for, you cherish the most. What you work hardest for, you cherish the most. And we have worked so hard for that state championship. When we got to nationals, and I saw the brackets at nationals, and I looked at the final, I said, if we were fortunate enough to get the Elite Eight, every game was like a championship game. That's the same way as it is at the state tournament when you get to the Final Four. However, the caliber of teams at the Final Four in our state championship is just as good as the caliber at the national
tournament. Yeah, because you played two of them, you had 2 of them to face at the national level.
Without a doubt. We face each other in the finals. So every year you get into that state tournament, and it's very, very tough to win up there. I was there, that was my 11th time there to the state championship.
Really?
I was 2 as an assistant coach and 9 here. So 11 years, and really it's 13 years that it took me to win that state title. That was something that I'll always remember.
And the message is, just keep trying, right?
You just keep working. Go back in there and keep working. You know, it's good things will happen as long as you keep working hard. Do the right thing.
I know you're proud of your players. I want to talk about some of them, but first let's get to your other coach over here. He's been waiting patiently. Lance Foreman, your other assistant. Good to have you, Lance.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Tell us about your background and how you got here.
My background, I'm originally an Orlando native. I grew up there. I moved there at the age of 5 from Texas, and I started my basketball playing career there locally, and ended up at Lees McRae College up there in Banner Elk, North Carolina. Played 4 years up there, and after completion of that, I actually had a year left of eligibility, and because I had a medical red shirt, and I actually, in this, I came to know Coach Tito Arias here next to me. I went up to the University of Maine Machias and tried to play my 4th and final year up there after taking that medical red shirt. And so I'm hanging out in Orlando during one summer, and just hanging out and playing with a couple of my friends, this, that, and the other, and elementary school friend that I've known, and just playing pickup ball. And it's like, hey, come up to the University of Maine Machias. I'm like, sure, all right, let's go. So I ended up going up there, and
where is that located?
So Machias, Maine. So all the way
up
north.
Close to Portland, or
no? That's about
Bay Harbor, or
closest to Bangor.
Bangor, okay.
Yeah, about a 2-hour drive from the Bangor airport out there to the southern coastal line right there. But beautiful area, lot of trees, a lot of forestry.
Maine's a beautiful state.
It absolutely is. And I went up there, and Tito was actually roommates with my friend from elementary school, and I was just like, all right, small world. So unfortunately, while I was there, though, they denied me my eligibility, actually, and because I had already graduated with my bachelor's degree. And so I ended up finishing out the rest of the season, stayed there with the guys, stayed with a group of guys, kind of became kind of like a student volunteer assistant with the guys, traveled with them and everything like that, and ended up coming home in the spring. So when I returned home, I was trying to figure out, what's my next step, what's my next move. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. So I actually got a phone call from a gentleman that was a women's coach at my college at Lees McRae College, and he invited me here to Gainesville, Florida, and to become a assistant varsity coach and head junior varsity coach at St. Francis Catholic High School in Gainesville. So I got my coaching career there, started in 07.
It's Billy Donovan's school, isn't it, St. Francis?
It is, yeah. So I got to coach Billy's son there, his sophomore and junior year of high school, and didn't get to stick around for his senior year, as I still felt the need that I could still play a little bit. So I actually traveled overseas to try out for a professional contract, and it ended up not working out too well. So I returned home once again, and I found myself twiddling my thumbs, and hey, what's my next step? Where do I go to next? And with that, I had found out that a certain coach was moving down for a new position, and I had just gotten back, and I was like, well, I was thinking about graduate school, and I was thinking about my next step and pursuing my education, and I was just like, all right, well, I'm right here in Orlando. I'll apply to University of Central Florida. Well, at the same time, I didn't know Donnie Jones was becoming the head coach there, and he had been a former assistant of Billy's, and obviously with Florida and their back-to-back championships and everything like that, and with that, I found myself a spot as a volunteer manager in the first year as I was pursuing my master's degree. And with that, second year came along, and stuck around for my second year to finish out my master's degree, and I was a graduate assistant for him. And with that, I found myself again at the end of that year and at the end of the term. Okay, what's next? What's my next move? But having known Tito was one reason, but also the previous assistant before him, Adam Gordon, as well. I had known through another contact of mine, and through both of these guys, they helped me out, and I had met Coach Ryan a few times before, and kind of just on the basketball circuit and the scenes during the summers and
so you had a connection to Coach Ryan.
I had a connection, absolutely, and so with that, I had found out Tito was possibly moving on, and I had found out he was possibly going up there back to Maine Machias and everything else, and I had inquired about the position. I was like, all right, hey, who's taking your spot? Who would be moving forward?
And here you are.
And here I am. So it's kind of just my short end story, yet a little bit longer version of it. So I found myself here in our first year, and found myself in a very, very special
situation.
Quite
a ride for your first year, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Coach Ryan, talk about your assistant coach there, and talk about
what a quick funny story about when I first brought him in was when I was thinking about hiring him. I wanted to run it. Adam had actually initially told me, my old assistant had told me about him. So I was thinking about it, and I talked to him, and then I ran it by Tito. And Tito had gotten, he was going to Maine, had the job in Maine. Tito had asked him to come with him to Maine, and we didn't know that we had both asked him to join our staffs. And so it was kind of
competing, huh?
It was kind of
a little bidding war going on there.
A little ironic. But Lance brings so much to the table. He's a hard-working guy, and you have to. The hours that we require at our job is
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. We were out at Nationals, and I don't know if I've told you this before. We were out at Nationals, and we'd have an 8 o'clock game. That game would end at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we got to take the kids to eat. After we eat, we got to play the next day. After we'd eat, we'd have a meeting with the team at 12:15 at night. When that meeting was over, which is about 12:45, we'd start watching film at 1 o'clock. Now, I'd watch film till maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock, trying to get an idea of the team, looking at stats. These two guys, they would stay up till 4:30, 5 o'clock breaking those films down. And then we'd have to get back together again in about 2 hours from there to put everything together before we get on the court for our walkthrough. So the hours that it requires is just tremendous. And
you didn't go into it to get the 9 to 5, that's for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, and Lance puts a tremendous amount of hours. And we tell them up front what it's going to be. If they still want to do it after that, we give them a shot.
And that's what's nice when it pays off. The hard work pays off, and you get that big ring now. And speaking of rings, understand there's going to be a gaudy ring coming your way soon.
I'm hoping so.
Did they make a football-sized ring that you can get? I mean,
if they do, we're getting it.
I'm telling you, I'd be wearing that sucker too. That's a great accomplishment. We didn't talk much about the kids, so real quick, let's just talk about some of them. We know about the great success of Eugene McCrory. Actually, he was named the top player. And by the way, I should mention congratulations to you for winning another coaching award, National Coach of the Year. That's a wonderful thing for you there. Hope that'll give you a big ring or a trophy, something. But let's just run down a couple of guys that I've seen you play a couple of times this year. I know you like to talk about Rasheem Suarez a lot as being a guy. He was an all-tournament team player. What did he bring to the mix?
Well, he's a fiery guy with a lot of passion, a lot of emotion he plays with. He has tremendous skill. Can pass the ball real well, gets guys involved. Also a very, very good shooter. And he's coming back next year, which we're excited about. That's a good get for you there. McCrory, of course, had a wonderful tournament. He was lighting it. I didn't know he could score like that. I mean, he had, I don't know what his average was, but it was considerable. It was like 22 or 23 points a game or something.
Eugene,
Eugene, I think averaged 23.
Yeah,
in
certainly up in there in the 20s. And he's going to go to UCF. So
correct. He's on a visit there right now, but he's already committed to them.
Like we said, he can say, "I went to Central Florida all 4 years," except they're just different schools. Jordan Parks, a little bit about him.
Jordan, if you have never seen Jordan play, it's hard to describe. The first thing you will say when you see Jordan Parks play is, "Oh my God, he is a freak athlete." We had a guy from where was the guy from? George Mason in last night, one of the assistants, and Jordan went up for a couple of dunks, and this guy just about came out of his seat. And this is a college coach. Jordan is to say high major athlete is not doing him justice. You don't get any more athletic than Jordan Parks, and he is getting better and better. He is just turned 19. He finished playing 2 years of college basketball, and he just turned 19. He has a number of offers right now. He just hasn't decided where he wants to go. He's taking a visit next week, I believe, to Central Connecticut. He has Detroit on him. I can't think of the other schools, but he's got several schools on him.
Got about a minute and a half. I want to get this in real quick about who you got coming back and where you got 5 or 6 players going on this play. We mentioned a couple. First of all, who comes back off this roster?
Right there you have that's coming back will be Rasheem, Rodell Wigginton, who I think was our third leading scorer, and then also on there will be Matthew Uchadike, the 6'9" African kid. He'll be coming back.
Okay, and you got a lot of recruiting to do. You fill up.
We have one kid, a local kid that's already signed with us, Jason Pimentel, who's a transfer from Old Dominion, a 6'8" kid. His mom and dad played at CF. They met at CF. He is a local kid, played at Trinity Catholic. And he'll be very good.
Right. And as for people going on to play, how many of them are going to play D1 or D2? Or
all six of them will have the opportunity to go D1. All 6 of them will go. Will Saunders is on a visit, and he's already committed to Charleston Southern. Eugene McCrory, we've already talked about going to UCF. Jeremiah Eason is on a trip to Southern Miss right now, and they have already offered him. And then you have Amdi Fall, who is signed with St. Francis in New York and Brooklyn, Division I school. And then Jordan Davis has 3 or 4 offers right now. He just hasn't decided.
Terrific. What a way to cap off a great year. State champions, national champions. We're proud for you. We're proud for our community. Thanks for spending time with us here today to celebrate this. And thanks to your coaching staff. I know they meant a lot to you, Lance Foreman and Tito Arias, who did a tremendous job as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us, and these guys are the best. Thank you.
Looking forward to another national champion next year. Put you on the spot right now.
Thanks, buddy.
We come back, we'll have Josh DeSalva in the house. He's going to talk about Coach Yancey here, update us on what's going on there. Stay tuned to Buddy Sports Page right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range. We usually hide somewhere in a neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
Of bank approval. Vehicle purchase across the fixed rate allowance.
So, whoosh! That's the sound of my broom working overtime, because this month I'm sweeping the streets of Ocala to rid the city of old clunkers so you can drive a nicer, newer car today.
Hey, this is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. Right now, I'll give you a lot more over your appraised value for your old car. Even if you're still making payments, even the worst clunkers qualify, and nice cars too. So trade up to a clean car today.
Plus, my sweeping is keeping the bankers from sleeping, because my For the People credit approval process gives my banks and lenders more opportunity to help good people like you.
So wave goodbye to that old car you're stuck in and say hello to a bright and shiny, nicer, newer car today. Get a lot more over appraised value for your old car.
Even if you're still making payments, trade up to clean up today.
Hurry, once I get rid of 57 cars, this auto makeover is over. I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people. Visit me at Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala or Bellevue.
Or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige!
On Mondays, AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Linda Ann Jones. She's a poet and a children's author. Her book is called Alphabet Anatomy.
Open for debate, where both sides of the chosen topic will be discussed.
And then Randy Buss will be on the air with us. He's a business director of NAI Heritage, the source in Florida for commercial real estate.
John M. Ballman is a proud person with Parkinson's. He's written a book called Decide Success. You Ain't Dead Yet. 12 action steps to achieve the success you truly desire.
And then from Sunrise Automotive, mechanic and technician Matt Gibbs will be on the air with us on his show, Auto Repair with Personal Care, answering your questions about your cars.
Dr. Sherry Campbell is a licensed psychologist who helps with personality disorders, depression, and addiction. She's written a book called Loving Yourself, The Mastery of Being Your Own Person.
All of that, plus Fun with Joe on Mondays, AM Ocala Live, right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
Well, the new year is upon us, and that means getting to those forgotten projects that you promised you would. So whether you're tackling a small honeydew list or building the Taj Mahal, Sunbelt Rentals will help you get the job done right with the right tools. From carpet cleaners to excavators, Sunbelt Rentals has what you need. So what are you waiting for? Get it done. Rent it now. From Sunbelt Rentals, located on Highway 27, just a half-mile east of I-75, or visit sunbeltrentals.com. Get it done. Rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals.
Hi, I'm Ernie Sprantz. Join me weekday mornings at 10:50 for Report to Consumers. Consumer news you can use from your hometown station. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Good talk, great conversation. WOCA, News Talk 1370.
Year after year, running over the same old ground.
We're back on Community Gazette Day Live from Gateway Bank. I'm Tom Schmitz. Now we're going to go to Josh LaSalva for the High School Athletic Spotlight. Josh, you have an update with us about Coach Yancey, I'm to understand. Hold on, let me turn you up.
Yeah, that'll work.
There you go.
All right, there we go. All right, so last week I reported on the unfortunate news about Coach Yancey going into emergency open heart surgery. And if you don't know who Coach Wayne Yancey is, he's the Forest head baseball coach. And good news, though. God is good. Last night, Coach Yancey was in the dugout for Forest.
even though having open heart surgery the week before. It's an amazing story. It was senior night. He wanted to be there for his seniors. He coached them all 4 years, most of them, and he really built in a lot of character into these young individuals. And, you know, senior night where you honor 40 of the seniors on the team, and it extends the game about an hour and a half, all escorted by their moms and dad. But besides the point, Coach Yancey was there. He coached his team to victory. Forest Baseball won the game 14-7 against Lake Weir, and they were up 8-1 by the first inning. Forest made a ton of bad errors, had a ton of pass balls, couldn't catch easy pop flies, made it look rough out there. But the bats made up for it. A couple home runs, about 8 doubles, and you got yourself 14 runs. The weather also didn't cooperate with the game either. About 4 different times it was called off for rain delay. An all-around sloppy game. Started at 6:30, game ended at 10. Totally rough. Forest is 18-2 on the season. Headed on a bus right now as we speak up to Tallahassee to play and face off against district rival Lincoln. Forest, like I said, for the past 2 weeks now, on their way to winning 20 games this season. It's an incredible thing to accomplish, especially for maybe Coach Yancey's last year as a coach. It's an all-around exciting season to watch, and it's just about to heat up. The playoffs coming up very shortly here in Marion County, so stay tuned. Have all the updates about Marion County High School athletics.
Well, Josh,